The land is unforgiving, the stakes are higher than ever, and the Dutton family's legacy is just beginning to take shape. Yellowstone 1969 isn't just a story about ranching. It's the story of survival, ambition, and bloodlines tested by fire, betrayal, and the harsh reality of the Montana frontier. Every decision could mean life or death, and every relationship carries the weight of generations to come. You're about to witness the moment where the Dutton family starts carving their empire, brick by brick, while secrets and rivalries simmer just below the surface. This is where legends are born, and nothing will ever be the same again. The story begins with the Dutton family on the edge of a new era. The land stretches endlessly under a sky that seems too wide to contain all the challenges ahead. It's 1969, and the Montana frontier is as wild as ever. Every sunrise brings opportunity and danger, and the Duttons know that survival is not given. It's earned. John Dutton Sr., a man of quiet strength and unwavering will, surveys the property, seeing more than just acres of land. He sees the future of his family, the backbone of a dynasty that will define generations. But the land doesn't bend to wishes. It demands labor, strategy, and sacrifice. Already tensions stir in the family. Relationships that seem solid are tested as ambition clashes with loyalty. Spencer, the elder son, carries the burden of his father's expectations while struggling with the weight of his own dreams. He's the kind of man who can lead, but even leadership comes at a cost. He must navigate a world where friends and enemies wear the same faces, where alliances shift as quickly as the wind across the plains. Meanwhile, Jack and Elizabeth, two figures who will shape the next generation, navigate their own complicated paths. Love, loss, and desire intertwine in a way that promises both passion and tragedy. Elizabeth is torn between duty and independence, between her heart and the practical needs of survival in this brutal landscape. Her choices will echo through the Dutton family tree, leaving consequences that no one yet fully understands. As the story unfolds, the audience sees not only the physical challenges of ranching, the livestock, the fences, the unpredictable weather, but also the psychological battles within the family. Secrets simmer beneath the surface. Hidden rivalries, old grudges, and ambitions that stretch beyond the horizon create a tension that is both palpable and inevitable. Every conversation, every glance, every decision is loaded with meaning. When John Dutton III is born, the weight of the family legacy is already pressing upon him, even as a child. The story doesn't shy away from showing the harsh realities of frontier life. Disease, accidents, and betrayal lurk at every corner. Yet, there's a beauty in the struggle. The land itself, rugged and unforgiving, is also a teacher. The Duttons learn resilience, patience, and cunning from it. Every sunrise is a lesson, every storm a test, and every small victory a step toward building an empire. Outside the family, Montana's political landscape is a chessboard of its own. Rivals, businessmen, and opportunists watch the Duttons' every move, waiting for a moment of weakness. Negotiations are tense, and alliances are fragile. The Duttons must navigate this world with a mixture of diplomacy, intimidation, and sheer force of will. As the first section of this story closes, the audience begins to understand the stakes. This isn't just a tale of cattle and land, it's a story of identity, power, and the enduring human spirit. Every decision, no matter how small, could reshape the family's future. The early moments of Yellowstone 1969 set the tone for a saga of epic proportions, where love and loyalty are tested, and where the fight for survival will define who the Duttons are, and who they will become. As the Duttons continue carving their place into Montana, the stakes grow sharper, and the line between family and foe blurs. Every decision carries weight. Every interaction becomes a potential turning point. Spencer's role as the elder son has never been more complicated. He struggles to balance loyalty to his father with his own ambitions and desires. He carries not only the weight of the ranch, but also the unspoken pressure to be the man his family expects. In private moments, his doubts surface. Can he protect the land and the people he loves without losing himself in the process? Meanwhile, Jack emerges as a wild card. His charm and intelligence make him magnetic, but he also hides secrets that could unravel the fragile balance within the family. He shares moments of camaraderie with Spencer, but also competes for influence, subtly testing alliances. Elizabeth, caught between these powerful men, is learning to assert herself. Her resilience is growing, but so is her awareness that love in this world is never simple. She sees the undercurrents of betrayal and loyalty around her and knows that any misstep could have lasting consequences. The Duttons' enemies are not always outsiders. Neighbors, politicians, and businessmen in Montana see the Dutton Empire as both a challenge and an opportunity. Some mask envy with civility, others plot openly. Even seemingly loyal allies can be swayed by greed or ambition. Every interaction is a test, a subtle negotiation where power, reputation, and influence clash. This tension adds a layer of suspense, keeping the audience on edge. At the heart of this struggle is the land itself. Ranching in 1969 is more than physical labor. It is a symbol of legacy, identity, and survival. Harsh winters, unpredictable storms, and the constant threat of fire or disease make the land both an ally and an adversary. The Duttons respect it, fear it, and fight for it. In this section, the audience witnesses the first true cracks in the family's unity. Arguments erupt, small acts of defiance ripple into larger conflicts, and secrets that have long been buried begin to surface. Spencer's temper flares at moments of weakness, Jack's cunning maneuvers create tension, and Elizabeth's intuition uncovers truths that others would rather remain hidden. Outside the Dutton household, Montana's societal pressures amplify the drama. Local politicians see the family as a symbol of resistance, while law enforcement and business interests test the boundaries of power. Corruption, greed, and ambition collide with the Duttons' unyielding vision. Alliances are fragile. Friends can become enemies overnight, and trust is a rare commodity. The audience is left questioning who will remain loyal and who will fall prey to temptation. Intertwined with these conflicts is the personal growth of each character. The story takes time to explore motivations, fears, and dreams. Spencer's struggle with identity and responsibility adds depth to his character, while Jack's unpredictable actions inject suspense. Elizabeth's emerging leadership hints at the matriarchal strength that will define future generations of the Dutton family. Even the younger members, glimpsed in fleeting moments, are shown learning from the adults around them, absorbing lessons of survival, loyalty, and strategy that will shape the future. By the midpoint of this section, the audience begins to feel the gravity of the Dutton legacy. Every choice carries consequences. Every betrayal, whether small or monumental, leaves ripples through the family and the land they cherish. This isn't just a story about survival, it's a study in power, love, and the delicate balance between the two. The tension builds as the first seeds of conflict that will define Yellowstone's later years are planted. Old rivalries resurface, ambitions clash, and the Duttons must confront the reality that the world around them is as relentless as the land they fight to protect. By the end of Section 2, the audience is fully immersed in a world of suspense and drama, understanding that in Montana, family, land, and legacy are intertwined in a web where every thread could snap. Trust is scarce, loyalty is tested, and the Duttons' path is far from certain. Every moment is a calculated risk, and every action shapes the destiny of the family for generations to come. The Montana landscape stretches endlessly, but the world inside the Dutton family is far more complex and treacherous than the open plains. By 1969, love and loyalty are tested at every turn, and the audience can feel the tension mounting with each scene. Spencer, still grappling with the enormous expectations placed upon him, finds himself at a crossroads between following his father's commands and pursuing his own desires. He loves the land, he loves the family, but he also yearns for independence, for moments where he can breathe without the suffocating weight of responsibility. His internal conflict becomes a subtle but constant source of tension, a reminder that the Dutton legacy is not just built on land and cattle, it's built on choices, sacrifices, and sometimes heartbreak. Jack, ever the wild card, begins to show his influence in more ways than one. His charisma draws people toward him, but his ambitions are not always aligned with the family's long-term vision. He becomes both a friend and a rival to Spencer, a figure whose loyalties are difficult to predict. The audience senses the friction between the two men, a tension that simmers beneath polite conversation and careful negotiation. Jack's relationship with Elizabeth adds another layer of suspense. She is learning to assert herself, to navigate a world where power and affection often collide. Elizabeth's heart is pulled between familial duty, her attraction to Jack, and the reality of survival in Montana's harsh frontier. Every glance, every word carries weight, as the audience realizes that her choices could shape not just her own future, but the future of the Dutton dynasty. As personal relationships intensify, external threats loom larger. Rivals, both old and new, are beginning to test the family's boundaries. Neighboring ranchers, opportunistic businessmen, and even local politicians see cracks in the Dutton armor and are ready to exploit them. Montana in 1969 is a land of opportunity for some and danger for others. Every negotiation, every act of diplomacy or intimidation becomes a chess move in a larger game that extends beyond the ranch. This section emphasizes how fragile trust is in this world. Friends can easily become foes, and every secret kept is another potential spark for conflict. Amid all this tension, the story gives room to the personal triumphs and tragedies that define human experience. Elizabeth's growth is a central focus. Her resilience and determination are tempered by the pain of loss and the challenge of leadership. She emerges not only as a figure of compassion and guidance, but also as a force to be reckoned with, a woman whose choices reverberate across generations. Her relationship with Jack teeters between tenderness and rivalry, creating a dynamic that keeps viewers on edge, never fully sure where her loyalty will lie or how she will navigate the shifting alliances around her. The younger generation begins to appear, though only in fleeting moments, learning lessons from the adults who shape their world. They witness the Duttons' triumphs and failures, absorbing the brutal truths of frontier life. These glimpses serve as a reminder that legacy is not just inherited, it is learned, experienced, and forged in the crucible of adversity. Meanwhile, the land itself remains a constant character, beautiful, unforgiving, and omnipresent. Storms rage, crops fail, and cattle die, and the Duttons are reminded at every turn that the earth they love is as demanding as any human adversary. This connection to the land adds depth and realism, showing that power is earned not only through negotiation or force, but through patience, skill, and understanding of the natural world. By the midpoint of Section 3, the audience is fully immersed in a web of relationships, ambitions, and subtle conflicts. The stakes are clear. Every decision, every misstep, and every act of courage carries consequences that will shape the family's destiny. Love and loyalty collide, rivalries grow sharper, and the Duttons' world is revealed to be one where nothing is guaranteed and everything must be fought for. As this section concludes, viewers are left with a sense of impending change. The tension is high, the characters are evolving, and the foundation for future conflict is firmly in place. The story is no longer just about survival. It is about forging identity, protecting legacy, and navigating the treacherous path where personal desires meet familial duty. The stakes in 1969 Montana are higher than ever, and the Duttons are learning that loyalty can be as dangerous as any enemy. Every ally is tested, every agreement is a gamble, and every day brings a new challenge that threatens the family's grip on their land. Spencer, carrying the weight of leadership, begins to see the cracks in the alliances he once trusted. Men who once smiled and nodded now speak in double meanings, whispers of deals and betrayals float on the wind, and Spencer realizes that being a Dutton is not just about hard work, it's about strategy, cunning, and survival. The tension is palpable, and viewers can feel it in every interaction, in every glance exchanged across tables, in dimly lit rooms, or across the open plains where cattle graze quietly, unaware of the human games surrounding them. Jack continues to play his dual role of confidant and rival. His charm masks ambition, and even Elizabeth, wise as she is, cannot always see the full scope of his intentions. Their relationship, electric yet fraught with suspicion, keeps the audience guessing. When will trust bend into betrayal, and who will suffer the consequences? Elizabeth herself begins to assert a strength previously unseen, emerging as a central force in the Dutton household. No longer a passive observer, she navigates politics, family dynamics, and personal desires with a sharp intelligence that hints at the powerful matriarch she will eventually become. Her decisions now carry weight, not just for herself, but for the family's future and the shaping of the generations to come. Amid the family drama, the external world closes in. Rival ranchers, opportunistic businessmen, and local authorities all seek to exploit the Duttons' perceived vulnerabilities. The Montana landscape, harsh and unyielding, mirrors the tension within the family. A single storm can wipe out cattle, a fire can destroy months of labor, and even a minor lapse in judgment can cascade into disaster. The narrative makes it clear that power in this world is never static. Today's friend may be tomorrow's adversary, and survival requires constant vigilance. As the Duttons navigate these challenges, the seeds of betrayal begin to sprout. A confidant may leak information to rivals, a business partner may act in self-interest, and family tensions threaten to explode. Spencer, despite his experience, is forced to confront the fact that strength alone does not guarantee loyalty or success. Strategic thinking and foresight become as vital as courage and resolve. In the midst of these trials, the story introduces subtle hints of the next generation. John Dutton III, though still a child, becomes a symbol of hope and continuity. Every decision by the elders now carries the weight of legacy, shaping the world that John will inherit. The audience sees glimpses of the values, lessons, and resilience that will define him even before he fully understands them himself. The Dutton family's story is as much about inheritance, of land, power, and identity, as it is about survival in the present. Section 4 also explores the cost of ambition. Characters are forced to make morally complex choices, weighing personal gain against family loyalty. Some decisions will haunt them, others will define them, and all will have lasting consequences. Betrayal becomes a recurring theme, not always dramatic but often subtle, a whispered conversation, a missing signature, a decision made in private. These betrayals are compounded by the relentless pressure of the Montana frontier, where nature itself is a constant threat. Every storm, drought, or accident carries a metaphorical weight, reminding the Duttons that survival is never guaranteed. By the end of this section, the audience fully understands that Yellowstone 1969 is more than a story of land or cattle. It is a study of power, legacy, and the human spirit under pressure. Every plot twist, every moment of betrayal, and every decision to protect or challenge family builds toward the inevitable shaping of John Dutton III's world. Suspense is high, the emotional stakes are sharper, and the Duttons' journey toward becoming legends is well underway. The stage is set for conflicts that will ripple across generations, where love, loyalty, ambition, and vengeance collide in a way that is as thrilling as it is inevitable. Section 4 heightens the stakes of betrayal, strategic power plays, and the legacy of John Dutton III, keeping the audience on edge while showing the moral and emotional complexity of the Dutton family.